about out and about prospecting and how you can, hire anywhere you go. And at first I didn't really get it, and I wasn't that excited about it until they said the world is your oyster when you learn this. You can live anywhere and be anywhere and grow your business. And this really got me excited because I build my business for freedom. I started this business when my kids were young and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and replace a full-time income. I worked hard. I failed forward. Anybody failing forward out there? Right? And I just had this stick-to-itiveness that kept me going, and this belief that I'm going to figure this out, this rock bottom stubbornness that I'm going to do this. And then, through this, I learned how to become a better, just better of communicating with people out and about and building trust very quickly. And it's actually not as complicated as one may think, because really what people are looking for is people that they can trust. And what I can tell you quite honestly, and I've learned this from our CEO, Isaac himself, and if you ever had the opportunity to talk to him, you've never been listened to quite as intently as he listens to you, right, Jeannie? Everyone's nodding if you've had that chance. He almost sees into your soul. And so, thinking about Isaac and his brother and his family, and they all have this similar gift, made me realize that the reason it made me feel uncomfortable is because people are listening to speak. And I listen to speak. And when you listen to hear instead of listen to speak, that's really, if you can master that one skill, the trust you have built with people will happen. And all you have to do is give a listening ear for 2-3 minutes, ask more questions, get to know them, be curious, be interested and not interesting. And I tell you that I know people might be sitting on here and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And I'm still working on this every single day. And once, really trying to put in this action lately. And actually, while I was going through my battles with my own personal health and dealing with breast cancer, a lot of my new customers and new prospects actually are people that I listened to and was talking to when I wasn't doing a whole lot of business. So maybe you guys are in a situation, I don't know where you are in your life, where business can only be fit inside the nooks and crannies of your life, right? And sometimes we run out of people. Well, you never run out of people as long as you leave your home, you will always run into people. So if we can master this, and rather than look to people for what you have to get, you look to people to what you have to give, it comes by a lot easier. And one of the biggest gifts we can give is by being curious and asking questions and really caring. So in saying that, I kind of put on my dream board this year, and one of my statements on my dream board is I want to just attract positive, like-minded, non-judgmental people who are looking to improve themselves every single day and inspire other people. And it's kind of funny, since I look at this every single day, because I put my dream board in front of my toilet. Okay. So I have to look at every single day. And it's been pretty incredible, the people who I am attracting into my life right now. And by just asking questions and being curious about them is and I get to know what they do, what they love about it, what they don't love about it, how many kids they have. And I might be listening to somebody completely talk for 5, 6, 7 minutes, which is a long time for somebody, if you're in a position where you're sitting by somebody new. Like, some people don't want to engage with you, and that's okay. I value their space. I'm not going to push it on that. But some people want to engage, and you just kind of feel this chemistry, right? And so you just get to know them. And sometimes when we feel this chemistry, it's like we go, oh, I got this gift and I want to dump it all on them. So asking lots of questions, being engaged in them and finding out more about them, then naturally they'll be like, oh, wow, you've built all this trust in just listening to them and asking questions lead-in questions. Oh, and then they get talking. Oh, do you have kids? And oh, tell me more about this, and tell me more about this. And so you're really listening to hear more, not listening to talk. And with building this trust, you can then there it's just naturally kind of go, oh, what is it that you do? And this is where you have to be prepared. And this is where you have to have a really quick something to say to them that's going to maybe or maybe not entice interest. Okay, because it might not be for anybody, and that's okay, without rambling on and be going into this sales pitch and then ruining the last 3, 4, 5 minutes that you just finished really caring for them. So, what I've been having a lot of success with, where I've noticed, because I've learned to watch body language, watch their eyes, is they go, oh, what is it that you do? I say, well, I actually run an online business that connects people to the Dead Sea and the health benefits that it offers people through the best skin health, hair health, and also personal health for our alkaline system that we carry. And I said, I really, really love it. It's an online business, and it just creates a lot of flexibility for me, and the products are just amazing. And I stop. And they go, and I don't say any more. And then some people are like, oh, I've given them that time. I've given them that gift of time. I've given them that gift of listening to hear. I've given that gift. They've already built the trust. So naturally they go, oh, wow, that sounds really interesting. And like this lady, she owns her own spa. I already know she's been owning her own spa for 15, 20 years. She's exhausted. She's tired of it, and I already knew all this. And so now in the past, I would have done this and go, oh, maybe you should think of doing this, and gone into my recruiting speech. But in here, we just got talking. She goes, oh my gosh, that might be something. She's talked to herself. That might be something I might be interested in. And I said, well, you know what? It really has worked for me. It's created a lot of time, life freedom, which is what I'm looking forward, which is what I wanted. I'd like to travel a lot. And then we got talking about traveling, and we totally got off topic and just talked about traveling and where she's traveled and different things. And at the end of it, I said, you know what? I just really enjoyed meeting with you. We should just get together for a coffee or a glass of wine, and I'd love to get to know you better. So the thing is I'm taking this because she's an incredible lady. She owns a spa, and I'm not building a relationship, you guys. So I can get her in my business. I have a gift of my business, and it might not even be for her, but I'm being authentic. I'm being real. I'm taking the time to get to know her. We're going to have a coffee and a tea or a glass of wine, whatever we decide. We actually had a glass of wine booked for Valentine's Day, and I ended up sick. So yeah, we really liked each other. We were even going to date each other on Valentine's Day, but I ended up sick. And now she's been on holidays for an extended holidays. But, and it's just been, we're Facebook friends. She comments on my stuff. I comment on her stuff, and we're building this relationship. So, and then other people, when I say that, they're like, oh, wow, you know what, that might be something I would be interested in. And I said, absolutely. I said, we're really, it's been a really great business. And, maybe I'm hiring people currently, and it might be something, we're extending, we're really branching out across Canada. And why don't we get to coffee, and I can tell you more. So rather than going right into it and giving them all this information, you want to do the next point of sit down where you can tell them more. Okay. In this situation, I wanted to know this lady more because she owns a big spa and everything else. We had this great connection, and I wanted to take a little bit more time with her. So when you can meet people out and about, it's going to give you this freedom, not only of growing your business, but I'm going to tell you of meeting the most incredible people who may or may not change your life and the way you're thinking and everything else. And when we can think of giving rather than receiving, and now this takes longer but I'm not in it for a time frame. The people that I've been working with and the customers are people that I've met someone in the store when I was shopping with my son, for example. We're shopping for shoes, and she had really bad acne. And so I always stumbled across this. I'm like, how do I share this without being rude? So I walked out of the store, and then I came back and I said, I'm sorry, but I couldn't help but notice that you are dealing with a skin challenge currently, and I couldn't leave without offering you a gift, because I actually currently work with a company that specializes in your skin condition. Would you be interested in going for coffee and maybe trying a new line and seeing if this could be something for you? And she was, absolutely, we can. So we have an appointment with her. So she could hear in my voice that I was coming from a place of caring, and I wasn't coming from a place of, and I was asking her permission if she would be interested, rather than, it's, people don't want to be hounded. People don't want to be jumped on. I've also been in situations where, I meet the most incredible people who are super outgoing, and I just get to know them. I build their trust first. And then just by offering them and say, and then I know their lifestyle, I know their business and everything else, you know what, I'm just going to, is that all right if I just ask you kind of a wild and crazy question? I don't know if you'd be interested in making extra money at the side, but my business is expanding across Canada, and we're looking for outgoing people like yourself who are very comfortable with people. And I can totally see that you are that person. And it may or may not be for you, but this isn't the time or place to kind of go over it because we're having fun. Maybe I've met them in a restaurant or whatever the case may be. I said, but I would love to take that time and just share it with you and see if you might be a business partner of mine. And by saying business partner, I think people they're looking for a business partner. They're not looking for a sales job, but they're like, wow, you look at me as a business partner? And I do. And I really look at every single person, like Janice, Bev, my mom, I just see you on the first page here and that's all I see. But these are my business partners, and each and every single one of you brings something amazing to the table. I am not better than any one of these people. We all have incredible gifts to share. And so when you treat people with that respect and you see their value and you compliment them on what kind of, what is it that you're attracted to, and be genuine. Be genuine when you meet these people, then the response is, at the end of the day, if they're not looking for anything, you've still complimented them. And there's nothing wrong with that. So when people kind of feel like, oh, I've been slimed or something, right, is that you've been controlling a conversation to get what you want, or then you just kind of, maybe you've said too much. I've been slimy, you guys. Because I've been working on a sales target. I've been working on a goal for a trip, and I just want everything to happen right now. And unfortunately, we need to just calm down. It will come. And if you're consistently building relationships and doing this and keeping a list of people in a notebook, having a paper trail of some kind that makes sense to you. I know getting it off my phone, I forgot people. So I'm going to go back to having a follow-up book. I'm going to have tabs from January to December. And then when I meet people, I'm going to literally make sheets up, write notes about it, and literally put them in the tab. And then if they don't fit in, they can't do something in March, they're going to go into April, and always ask their permission. Is it okay if I follow up with you on this date? And sometimes you got to chase someone. So the lady who has a show next week, I met her on a shuttle off a conference. I always find a lot of success when I've done business, especially if I've done a trade show in Calgary or something. We're traveling to and here, and people ask you what you've been doing. And you say, oh, I'm in a trade show with my company. And they're like, oh, tell me more. This is your opportunity. I run an online business. I connect people to exclusive products from the Dead Sea. We specialize in helping people to have the best skin, treat severe skin challenges, the best hair, and to help make health simple through our health line. I absolutely, and then they'll be like, wow, that sounds really interesting. Stop talking, breathe, let them talk. That is it. So sometimes we end up doing really good, and then we get nervous, and it's okay, you guys. It's okay to fail, to run forward. Because I tell you, the first time I started doing this, I failed over and over and over again. And I did it in my local area. So I recommend go away from your local area so you don't see people again. So just a tip number one. And just practice this and keep it very simple and be interested instead of trying to be interesting. And then we ended up talking ourselves out of it. People want a place to trust. And listen with your heart, listen with your soul, listen to learn more, ask more questions, be interested. And I can't stress this enough. And as people and human beings, we need to do this in our personal lives. We need to do this in our relationships. We need to do this, of course, in our business. So this is kind of the way I've been doing it. And the world is really your oyster. Isn't that cool that you can go anywhere, you can live anywhere, you can be anywhere, and you can build a business and share our gifts wherever you may go. Just keep it simple. So I don't know. I think that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions for me? Hello. Let me look at the chats here. Just going to go through here.
I'll ask a question, Leah.
Yeah.
So I love what you've shared, and it really feels like it resonates with me. So how do you take that next step then? So let's say you've met someone, you recognize that it's not the time and the place to get really into things. So you set up that coffee date. Do you then still keep it like very conversational, or are you someone who would like whip out your laptop and show them the business? Like I've never done a meetup in a coffee shop. Like, just tell me what you do.
Okay. Well, it's at this point, it depends on the situation. So for example, let's go with the lady from the spa. So I'm just going to go meet her as a friend to friend. And she already kind of expressed she was curious, and she might even forget that because we have lots of other things in common with her. So I'll just get her engaged in talking again about her spa. How was it over the holidays or the Valentine's Day and stuff? Because I know that was a busy time for her. And I want to learn more about how she got into doing the spa. So getting to know her a little bit more. And I just kind of just will watch how that conversation goes. So, and her response and her connection with me. But yeah, I would be like, I don't know if you would be interested, but my business is expanding across Canada. The products are really taking over because of how effective they are. And with your knowledge, I could see us working as really incredible business partners because she is tired. So I did get that. She's been doing this spa for a long time and she's tired. And just say, I could see this as being an answer to maybe your escape route down the road. And then go from there. And then she might see that connection and she might not. So there's never a guarantee, you guys. It's about finding out where their pain is and showing them that we have a solution. And everybody has some kind of pain, and we have a gift to give them. Whether that's the gift of this community. We just sat with at the trade show an agent, and she's next door. Her next door neighbor is kind of curious, and she just needs a community. She's really needs a community of women supporting her. Yes, she needs it financially, but she needs the community first. And I really saw that. So we just had a lot of fun. By the end of it, we were all like crying and hugging, and she's just been through such a battle this last little bit. And we just build up a real trust. And I'm like, next time we come down, let's all get, I'm always want to go hiking. And they live in Calgary and never go to the mountains. And I'm like, well, let's go hiking together. Let's do something. Let's get you guys out, and building that relationship and that trust. So it takes just building relationships over a period of time in some cases. And then you get some people who start right away. But it's just because they don't start right away, I don't want you to sabotage it and just kind of all over them. They're going to let you know. You're going to feel it. If you're listening with your heart and your soul, you will learn to know when and when not to push. You're never pushing, or when or when not to ask, or when or when not to give. And you can do it from a place of giving, not a place from taking, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think a lot of what you said is obviously just going to come with practice and experience and stuff too, but it gives us some really good, some good stuff to go off of. And stuff to work on. So thank you.
Yeah, it is. And it's not, you can't really have a cookie cutter in this because it is learning how to communicate. And unfortunately, a lot of us haven't learned how to communicate properly. And I don't, we're just raising kids and busy doing this. And we're like barely getting by and flying by the seat of our pants. But just be interested more than interesting and come from that place and that trust. People will do business with people they like and trust. Number one rule in relationship marketing.
So Leah, we got a couple questions here. One from Nicole, can we have some kind of a script to follow what they should say and not to say?
Yeah, I can put together my little script that I talked about of how I just kind of open the door and then stop and watch and listen. You're listening and looking for clues. Reading a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, is a really great book just to learn how to communicate and make people feel trusted. So, doing some out of the box, like just your own personal growth reading will help you with some of this stuff. There's lots of great things, but, and then practicing, and really it's hard to break habits, you guys. Like if you're a talker, your brain, and your brain will continue to follow this record player that you constantly do. And then first of all, what happens is I would recognize when I was like, literally I was pushing something on somebody. And I knew I wasn't hard on myself, but I recognized when this was happening. I'm like, okay, that's good. At least I'm recognizing it now. Right? And so next step is to change it. And I can notice when I'm about to do that. And instead, no, this is usually when I need to stop and ask another question and be more interested. Okay, so it's breaking a pattern, it's breaking a cycle, and any habit is hard to break. Just like if you guys are working at a health change in the 7.2, but maybe half of you guys have quit already, whatever. Get back on the program, you guys. You're building habits for life. There is nothing that's more important than changing these habits in our life when it comes to health and building relationships. Really, those two combined, and that's what I love about this business is we grow as people. So yeah, it's so rather than talk more, talk less, but ask them more engaging questions so they talk more, and they'll be like, wow, this person's really listening, and then it can go from there.
Okay, and also Janice wanted to know if you actually invite strangers to the Dr. Cohn events.
Yes, it depends. You absolutely can. You never know who's going to improve their health. So we do have those events. By the way, they're going to go up in price tomorrow, you guys. So you want to really book your ticket. Okay. And Dr. Cohn itself, just learning some of his verbiage, go to every single event to learn, just write down verbiage. And he has really good, one-liners that are like, they don't seem like anything, but listen to learn. Again, listen to learn when you're talking to people, listen to learn when you're coming to these events. But yes, absolutely. In this case, I just did a huge trade show. I'm following up with people who I've been consistently dripping on over this period of time. And people who've all purchased the 7.2 and maybe came off of it. And just mostly just treating it as a health event to learn about health and what health looks like today, and asking them questions. And I said, I don't know if you're like me and you feel like being healthy is complicated nowadays, but what I love about Dr. Howard Cohn is he really does make it simple, and it makes it easy for me to know what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing, and makes it easy for me to follow. And so they're like, oh, well, that sounds interesting, right? Because I think the biggest thing with health right now is it's confusing. And as soon as you start Googling, trust me, I did it. And I'm telling you, 100 hours in, it takes you to one little rabbit hole to another rabbit hole to another rabbit hole. And health is so confusing. So, and you can just say it's a health that, it really made a lot of sense to me. You can use my story, you guys, in that, literally in a month, I was on my bike doing 100-kilometer rides soon after my treatments. And I do believe it's because he had me on 20 recovery a day, and literally, and I was doing, I upped my greens, and the energy that I had to follow was incredible. I still have to manage my energy, for sure, but I am so blessed every single day for this 7.2 in my life for my health. So you can use, if you don't have a compelling story, you can use other people's stories. So I use my mom's story. Like she can walk up and down the stairs now, run up and down the stairs. And my mom was going sideways down the stairs, holding onto the handrails, and then literally, I think it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, she was running and she's like, Leah, watch me. And I'm like, Mom, don't trip, So, and she was worried about her health. So, just use other people's stories, and ask them questions first. Is there, just curious, is there anything that you would change in your life health-wise? And if there is, you might be interested in coming to this. So you can pass out flyers to people in the neighborhood, right? Go to the neighborhood, bring a carload of people. He's incredible. And we can only lead a horse to water. We can't make them drink. So just because they're not interested, that's okay. It's not their time, and that's okay. Right. So, invite 20, you'll get 5 kind of thing. And that's with lots of follow-up. All right. I can't recommend it enough. Any other questions?
Yeah. Somebody had asked if you could post the names of the books you recommended.
That one came to mind about just talking to people, for sure. How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've been also working on some online courses. I had a really good friend get me on them, and it's OM Daily, and they're $15 a course, and there's so much great content in them, and I just do, and then you keep the content after. And so I've been working through some personal issues, and there's so much in there for communication, to yoga, to I'm transitioning to a vegetarian lifestyle, to all of that there's some really great courses in there. So when it comes to communication, John C. Maxwell, that is probably some of the best stuff in there is, especially if you're looking at a leadership position, leadership. When we get in there, we feel like we have to move people. We can't move people. What we do is we encourage people to move themselves. And if anyone ever feels pushed or pulled inside this business, we're just going to push and pull them outside of this business. So we're all intelligent human beings. You are attracting business partners. And so that's, so if you come with that mindset, people will rise up instead of fall behind, right? It's how I feel.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I really enjoyed your training. I know everybody else did. There's tons that we've gotten from it now. My favorite, and I think you just repeated it so many times that it's just something we really have to learn to do, is the listening to hear, not listening to speak, because I think we just naturally listen to speak, and
we do.
We just have to change it ourselves. And
because we seek attention, and we seek approval, and we seek it as human beings, and it's okay to be like that. And gosh, I did. And I got so sick and tired of telling my sick story. I tell you guys, but now I use it to empower people, I hope. And, but at the end of the day, they want to talk. They want to talk and listen to hear, and, just listen with your heart, and it feels really good. And it's the world is a lot more funner, and this business is more fun. So, and if you're not having fun in your business, this business it's not work. It's what you put into it. And if you're doing this very, very part-time, know this takes time, over time. And the relationships that I'm making today are from the connections I've done 6 months ago sometimes. So I just met this amazing lady, and she sells another line, and I love her. And we become Facebook. She knows what I do. I know what she's done. And of course I'm like, I totally want to be business partners with her, but for me, I just want this person in my life in some way. So to connect with her, and from building trust, I know we have the best thing going on here. I know we do. And so I'm going to invite her to stuff, and maybe she'll see that for herself, right? And my passion and my excitement is so authentic that she naturally sees that off of me, right? So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up with some congratulations to a couple of people who've done some incredible things. One is congratulations to Cynthia Miller. She has hit bronze, so let's all make sure we congratulate her. And also, Laura Bollinger, you have earned the trip for 2 to Maui, and that is really exciting, and I'm really racing right behind you, trying to get there myself, because I need to be there. But congratulations. Oh, not 2? Well, I've just been told you have earned the trip, though. So congratulations on that. Okay, so I think we'll just wrap that up. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, Leah. And everyone, have an awesome evening.
Thanks, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone.